All right. Good evening, everyone. It is 5 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. I would like to begin our regular workshop. This time, the first item this evening is to discuss the Sheriff IGA revised draft. The trustees get a chance to look over that. Mostly.
Then there's some updated information and the updated corrected Sheriff IGA information, which included the information that Lynn and Christie had shared about the budget, about the cost of a vehicle, the salary of a deputy, what a salary and the benefits are.
There's also an informational page in there. I hope you saw it, and it explains about IGAs from other towns, how theirs work, and some of the costs involved and all that. I think the key to this is we want law enforcement in our town, and we will have an IGA. The best way I can kind of explain this is in the past, when I was a trustee, Sheriff IGA came up and said, yeah, this is just something we have to do. We just renew it. And that's it. There was no explanation, no thought put into it. And what we're trying to do is put one together that makes sense. The old one was very strange and talked about how you're buying one vehicle and one guy and all that kind of stuff. And so what we're working on doing is putting something together that's fair and equitable, what the town can afford. And you know, as you look at some of the studies from the info Lex got us and things like that, the county put together the first one, and nothing's set in stone yet. And we're just working on getting something that we can negotiate with that can come out and be fair. Mm-hmm. But I think some of the comparisons, when you look at that, where some of the issues lie, well, I was told, well, you need to compare with Silverton because they're very much like us. And I did a little research, and their budget, the town of Silverton, is $8.3 million a year. And ours is 1.1. So if we want to go off percentages, we'll save a whole bunch. But my point is we do want to work this out. And that's about all I have to say about it. But I'm interested in the trustees. Have you read this over? And if you have any comments about it and any changes you may want to see in it. Trustee Lindsay, would you like to go first?
I think that I think it is my thoughts that we are that's me buying time. I'm awful glad that we are not just rolling over the same IGA over and over with no thought as to what it actually means in our world. So the what I have seen, I think a lot reflects the things that we have discussed in our workshops. And so that's good. And it's time to lob it back to the county. Do we need to do anything before that? Do we need to adopt a draft, or we just need to kind of give it a thumbs up?
No, kind of give it a thumbs up and let Lex and Dan move forward with it.
Looks like Dan has to.
Dan, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Trustee Lindsay. And I did have a couple places in here where I have examples, and I do not know your guys' circumstance. So I was, as part of this discussion, hoping to get a little guidance from you. One of the specific places, I guess, let me back up just a little bit. In general, I think what we want to do is be on the same page about what we expect and what the county expects. And we know that there's going to be hiring issues and all kinds of stuff like that. That's nothing to do with your situation. That's across the state right now. It's real difficult. You guys being as remote as you are is beautiful, but it also adds to that challenge. So we don't want to put the sheriff's office in a place where they promise we'll give you 50 guys where they can't ever come to that. So I kind of broke this section 1 into 2 sections, which is things that they're going to provide across the county and then additional services. And in those additional services under, and I'm trying to read from a red line here. So my last one, I have this, I think one of the big things is this law enforcement service unit. We don't know if that's 1 hour per week or 40 hours a week or whatever, and that's going to vary, right? The sheriff should be able to dictate, hey, this is an emergency. You guys worry about jaywalking later. I have fires to put out or whatever. Um, but I think we need kind of a general baseline. So I left this blank, but kind of a for for the proposed amount, kind of how many hours are we expecting? And I think we just put something out there and let the sheriff say, yeah, that's reasonable, or I'm in town all day anyway, and I'm already doing that, so no problem. Or no, that's too big of a burden and it's going to cause other people to go without. After that, and this is, I've got some feedback on this one, which I get. This is just an example, but if there's a specific time, it's this bold language that says, where possible, the sheriff is encouraged to have these hours be, and I just guessed, um, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I don't know if there's certain times when, hey, it's really important to have a sheriff here. We see a lot more action, or not. And obviously, it's still up to him how to run that. But I think if we can propose something, and you guys generally expect, hey, we want to see a sheriff here 3 days a week in the afternoons, that'd be helpful. If you have an hourly thing, that'd be helpful. Um, I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me. This is just what I've seen in other IGAs, but the term, I have seen a 3% increase pretty standard. I think that could be something that we could add language to say we'll discuss a 3% increase and institute it as necessary, but that's completely up to you. Um, and then yeah, those are basically what I needed your guys' input on. So sorry for my rambling. I hope that helps. And if you have questions, let me know.
Nope, any trustees?
I was just gonna say, I mean, if you're gonna put a restriction on like no fewer than, I mean, the majority of they live here in town, I feel like with 20 hours a week, I mean, it feels that's reasonable if they're always in town, but I don't know.
I, sorry, I think that a set number of hours is going to be seen as unreasonable. And the law enforcement equal, or whatever that term is, that means like one law enforcement officer. Maybe we can break that out a little bit, but if we say 20 hours a week, and then I believe that the SO is probably going to want to know, how do we track that? Do I have to do timekeeping? What does that mean? Is it 20 hours over the weekend or 20 hours during the week? You see, I think it opens issues as opposed to supplying answers.
I think $20,000 or 20 hours a week for $100,000 is justifiable.
Yes, but how do we track that?
Hey, can I interrupt? I forgot to say one thing. Generally, when I've seen these, there's a breakdown that comes from the sheriff's office that says, this is what our employees cost. This is what it costs to get them their vest or their car or whatever. And what we're breaking down and what we're asking you to pay comes out to this much of an employee salary or whatever. So I think it wouldn't be out of line to ask the county, you know, you proposed, I think, 100,000. What do we get for those services? What can we expect? Because I know we had issues with, I'm going to mess these numbers up, but I think generally we have like 40 tickets a year. I think we got about 6 this year. I think that there was, again, staffing has been difficult, but if we're promised one guy and we can't have, if it's an impossibility to have an officer there for half of the year, it seems to me that we paid for half a year of services that we never got. So I think both sides want to work collaboratively, but I do think that we need to know what we're expecting, and we need to be on the same page as the county, just to make sure that that's okay.
You have something?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that hours is problematic and would be kind of an administrative burden. Um, as far as the cost, what we had put in here was 65,000 at the previous workshop. Some mentioned 75, some said it was too much. We included a provision where if they provided a deputy for special events that took place on town property, which most of them do, then we would be offering them additional compensation. They could charge us for that. Which I wanted y'all's feedback on that. If that's something where, you know, if they feel like that we're not paying enough, well, you could get more if you have the deputies available to do that. That way also the nonprofits are not having to hire on their own security, which they had to do this year, at least for the Wine and Music Festival. Another thing is they did provide information. I did talk to Sandy or Lynn and Christy did send over some additional information, which is in that updated and correct information for the sheriff IGA discussion. And in there, they gave us the dispatch fees, what that's expected for next year, which just the dispatch fees is $69,317. Also been a full-time deputy plus benefits and accounting for overtime, what the actual deputy sheriff salary, which is $66,950. Under sheriff is $72,100. And then also the cost of the vehicles, which they just recently received, which was the 2 new Ford Expeditions, which were $71,500 each. I mentioned that because one of the other communities based the cost on one fully equipped law enforcement vehicle. And then every 3 years, the cost of the IGA goes up based on a new vehicle being purchased and what the purchase price of that year of that vehicle. So, which I feel like that is, that is one of the ways in which we could approach this. If we did the 3% annual increase and we paid the $100,548 that they want next year, or they said they wanted, I mean, by 2035, we're paying $131,193, like 10 years later with 3%. Yeah. Yeah. It's just going to go up more and more with that annual 3% increase, which is not really sustainable for us, since our revenues aren't going up 3% every year and everyone's costs go up every year. So it's something that would be more manageable, maybe something where it's the cost of a vehicle, like $71,500 every 3 years, whatever it costs you to replace a vehicle is what we pay, or something to that effect. Also in here, what was changed based on the conversation we had last time was the insurance. We did change the insurance to kind of match some of the other IGAs that are examples in here, where instead of us paying the liability insurance for a full-time police officer, which is like another $8,700, we would just be adding them as additionally insured for the emissions errors, the emissions and errors of the board of any kind of town ordinance that would be deemed unconstitutional that they were enforcing, that they would may get sued over. And then vice versa, where as additionally insured on their liability insurance, which they're already carrying and covering for all their officers. So we did change that. That's all. That change is also in here.
Which section are you on?
Well, I was just kind of giving a broad overview of what we changed and what the information that you had in your packet is relating to. And 65,000 may be a little, too low. I don't know about these other communities. Well, and none of the examples that we pulled was there a 3% increase every year. It was something that was, and they didn't auto renew either. They were all for 1 year. One of them was for 2 years, but the price stayed the same, and that's Creed in Monroe County. But that price is flat, which I'm assuming that like in those they are covering just the salary of the deputy. So I just wanted to have this information for you, and then to let you know what we changed based on our conversation last time, or that were the proposed changes. And maybe 65,000 is too low, but maybe with them working special events if they're able, which it says is at their discretion, that maybe that would be another way for them to be able to receive some more funds. And so, yeah, so the 65,000 was the placeholder that's probably something else we all should discuss, if we think that's enough, or if that's the right amount. And yeah, I do think that the hours, requiring a certain amount of hours is problematic.
Yeah. I'll just say a couple things. I agree. We just want police protection, and it's not like a 9 to 5 anywhere you go. Emergencies happen in the middle of the night, and then there's times when you really don't need anything. And our seasons are so seasonal. During the summer, we could use 5 more or 6 more police, and right now, you can get by with 2, practically. You know, I mean, if you drive around, you know, they always say the majority of the calls are in town. Well, in the winter, most of the people are in town. I think there's only 5 or 6 people that are year round that way up County Road 30. And, you know, this is where the hub of the activity is. I'm trying to get something through my mind, and maybe you guys can help me. And I've brought this up multiple times, but I don't understand this giant differentiation between the fact that you live in town or you don't live in town, because we are all residents of the county. You know, and I pay the same bill levy on my home that's located within the town of Lake City to the county, provides county services, you know, and I'm lucky to have a piece of property outside of town. I pay that same bill levy and taxes on that piece of property. I feel like as a resident of Hinsdale County, I'm entitled to the same police protection as somebody who lives at the lake or out in a subdivision of the town. And then the way it was explained to me, with that being said, I feel we all deserve that same protection. And the purpose behind an IGA is things above and beyond what you would normally get as far as police protection from the sheriff. And so our special ordinances and things that we're asking them to enforce for us is where the additional money is. And, you know, I don't have a problem paying it. I know we need an IGA and I'm going to do it. But can we afford 100,000? And is what we asking worth 100,000? I guess. So I'm just trying to kind of keep it simple. But I don't get the big change just because you live within the town boundaries. Other than, yeah, you know, most of our special events, like you said, they're held here in town. And, you know, I don't know. I'm open to this, but I just wanted to share that because maybe somebody can finally explain that to me why.
Diane has her hand up. Too.
Okay. Hi, Diane.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. I have a early Christmas present of headphones. So they're new to me. I want to make a couple comments. Well, first of all, I agree with what Dave just said. And I think that getting into the county's budget for the sheriff's office is getting into the weeds. That is the county's business. And we do pay the same taxes as unincorporated to support that budget. So I don't think that it's relevant discussing what different things cost. It's the cost of doing business is what it is. The new vehicles that were purchased due to the fact that the older ones were about to not be in operational condition anymore. It was just a cost of doing business. I do agree with Jody about the tracking of if we would designate a length of time or number of hours or days. I think that would be a nightmare. And I don't think that needs to be in there at all. It never has been. And like Dave says, it would be an as needed situation, whether it's at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. And Yeah, that was the one thing that I had a problem with was just designated uh, days or hours of operation. It's the sheriff's office is a 24/7 situation in any county. So, and I think that's all I have right now. Thanks.
Then
Is it possible to add a section here to make it mandatory that the sheriff appears during the IGA discussion so we can ask questions?
I mean, a lot of it, all of it is pretty much at his discretion or if he's available. As an elected, that's kind of how it goes. It's hard to say that you have to be added in this. We do have that, let's see where that's at.
but they would attend the meeting and
He-
provide a report.
Right, and so
I think it's an exhibit anyway.
where is that?
Which section are you talking about?
He doesn't know he's looking. Yeah, hold on.
I'm pretty sure it's in Exhibit A, talking about quarterly conferring with municipal judge and you guys.
Oh, yes, thank you. In the exhibit, we do have in there two things where, the sheriff or their designee will meet the town trustees on a as-needed basis as determined by the board of trustees and mutually agreeable by the sheriff, and that these meetings may occur in an effort to maintain communication, enhance community policing and partnerships, but shall not be required any more than quarterly. And then we also have meeting with the municipal judge, the municipal court clerk, and town attorney, or I, on an as-needed basis to discuss the citations that are being issued in municipal court to address any issues that we've been experiencing.
Yeah, I just think that we should be able to, I don't know where, I tonight or anything, I have questions, but
Right. Yeah, that would be preferable by far.
But not enforceable.
But not,
We
you
can't
can't force somebody to, but
No, we
feel
can't
like it should
force
be-
anyone to come talk to us.
right.
Well,
you should just.
the sheriff is an elected official, and a lot of this, as you read it, it's at their discretion. That's the way they have the right to run their office if they want to run their office. That's,
And to speak to your point earlier, on the seventh whereas clause, which is one of the ones that we added, it says, whereas the town has drafted its various traffic, fire ban, and off-highway vehicle rules and regulations to mirror those of the county, and provide a consistent uniform framework for the sheriff to enforce throughout Hinsdale County. The things in which the sheriff enforces in our code are literally the model traffic code, which we've mirrored to the county. We've adopted the same one in 2020. The fire ban, we automatically go in the same fire ban. When the county declares it, we don't have to pass a resolution. We just automatically go in it. That is, the fire restrictions are also enforced by the sheriff. And the off-highway vehicle rules, they are identical except for that one thing about the hours of operation. And anything outside of that was just the dog licensing, which we've taken out of here because that was one of the things we discussed. So really the things that we're asking in this modified version is just to enforce the things that the county already has on the books that we've already mirrored. And that's it. Like really, there's nothing above and beyond that's special to the
Just
town.
enforcement.
It's just, for basic enforcement. So there's nothing really above and beyond that's unique to us that we're asking for. And Dan, one thing on that eighth whereas clause that where it says, whereas the town authorizes and desires the sheriff enforce all county rules, laws, and regulations throughout the county equally, including both the incorporated and unincorporated portions of the county. I'm assuming those are all like the county laws that mirror our own, because there may be laws that the county has, I don't know, that we do not have. So I don't know if that would be problematic or make it difficult.
So my thought behind there is if you have a speeder outside of the town, those people are entitled to not have their child run over just like a speeder inside of the town. To the extent we need to grant jurisdiction to the sheriff to enforce the same model traffic code, I don't think anyone on the board would have an issue with that. There were a couple things that came up. First, I didn't see those figures, and I'm sure that the sheriff and the commissioners got them to us. So when I said usually it's accompanied by this, I'm sorry, I just didn't see those. I don't mean to speak ill of any of them. Um, and then the hourly stuff, the grand scheme of it, and my intent isn't to dictate, hey, you'll be here from this time to this time. The sheriff is in the best position to do all this, make those choices. But I want to be able to say, yeah, we're receiving the services that we paid for, and we're not just being neglected. And a lot of that is just going to be working with them. So I can pull all that out of there. That was my intent behind it. It wasn't to say you get into issues about are you an employee or an independent contractor, and I don't want to do any of that. I want the sheriff to operate in his discretion. So
Diane, do you have your hand up?
Yes. I just want to point out that the reason we have mirrored the ordinances of the county is because what I've seen in their resolutions, when they adopt them, is they say this applies to unincorporated Hinsdale County. So in order for it to be enforceable within the town, that's why we mirror the ordinances. And so, in other words, for instance, the fire ban. I've read that resolution specifically. And so in order to enforce the fire ban within the town limits, the sheriff's office has to cite the town ordinance. If it cites the county ordinance, it's not jurisdictional. Does that make sense?
yeah, and I guess that's what I was saying is I am not aware of a provision that prohibits them or prohibits us from saying we grant you jurisdiction to enforce this countywide, including within the incorporated portion of the county, which is Lake City.
But that's what we did when we mirrored, right?
Yeah, so I think it's two ways of skinning the same cat. One is just here's their law, it applies outside. Here's our law, it applies inside. The other one is for us to say your law can apply in here and write them into county, you know?
They would have to change all of theirs, though.
Yeah, it would be.
We've already got them in place.
We're talking about model traffic code, fire, OHV. It would be some work, and I would see why they would be hesitant to do that. But I mean, if we're trying to run an efficient ship here, I think the more exceptions we can take out, the better. I think if you're speeding in Hinsdale County and it doesn't matter where you are, the county can, in his discretion, the sheriff can pull you over and say, you're speeding in Hinsdale County, I'm going to take care of this, the better.
Now that's a motor vehicle law. Wouldn't that be a state statute?
So just like we've adopted the motor or the model traffic code, it's the same idea at the county level.
Yeah, I mean, I had concerns about that too, and think that it would add levels of complexity that may not go over well with them. They probably will come back with something, get rid of that the first time they bring it back to us. So, and maybe we can let them do that. But I found that confusing, and knowing from being the municipal court clerk how things are written into court, be it county or town, and that can matter if that's enforceable or if that's something that gets thrown out or dismissed or not. And so I have concerns about that too, just from an administrative side, and for the simplicity of what the officers have to do. And I know sometimes that there'll be something in town, but it's like a felony, and they write it into county court, either state statute or a county law. So I've seen them do that before. So I really don't know how it all works or what that looks like. But I can just maybe we can let them come back with that. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that's exactly what I'm talking about. Let's just grant them the authority to have that discretion to do it, and then all the discretion is at the sheriff's office to say this is what I want to cite, and here's where I want to do it. I think we don't want to hold them up at all. And if they have concerns about that, or I don't practice at the county level. Mr. O'Loughlin doesn't practice at the municipal level, so there's probably intricacies that I don't know that also he wouldn't know, but we're on the same team. Let's make it as easy for the sheriff to operate as possible and as cheap and efficiently as possible.
And one last thing is that, and in some of the other IGAs, there is a provision in there where it says that it's really up to the sheriff's discretion. If he writes it, he can write it into county court, municipal court. It's at his discretion to where he writes it into, so long as it's being written correctly into whatever court it's being written into. But maybe that's something where we can clarify that by adding that provision. So,
And then taking that confusing bit out.
yeah, and just say, or county and town or something.
I
Yeah,
think that's confusing. I've just listened to both of you talk about that, and that whereas is confusing.
we'll work on thinking about that and redrafting that. Diane, did you have your hand up again?
Sorry. The model traffic code, I believe, is different than our ordinances. So it is. So I think they have the discretion on the traffic code, whether to write into the town or the county. But the ordinances, for instance, OHV ordinances, they would still have to, I think they would have to write those because they're not considered motor vehicles. It's a separate ordinance. They would have to write that. If it's in the town limits, they would have to write the ordinance. And isn't that what we're paying them to do? To enforce our ordinances? So.
More or less, yeah. And yes, sorry, Dave. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Specifically, that I don't think that would actually succeed in court or be enforceable if like an OHV county ordinance was written in municipal court. Like I just don't see that working out.
Yeah, as it's currently written. But if we grant them jurisdiction and they change their resolution to enforce their laws and ours, or am I making it too much? Sorry, Diane, I see your face.
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like it's too much personally.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to do a little legwork here to make it easy for the sheriff to say, here's the rules. They're the same across the whole county. I'm going to enforce the rules.
We'll reinforce that.
Are there specific changes anyone wants, or is this a good starting spot where we can pass this off to the county and say, here's what we're thinking, and let's open a dialogue so we can get somewhere and keep all our citizens safe?
Yeah, I think the key to this is we as a board instructed staff and the attorney to look at the other one, take out the things we didn't like, put in things that we think would work. I'm looking for a win-win situation. I always like those. And keep it simple as possible. I think the key to this one is they did their part. The reason we're discussing this tonight is I wanted input from the trustees. If there's anything in here that's very bothersome or you don't think it applies and we shouldn't do it, now is your chance. And we pass that on to Lex and Dan for them to fine tune this, and then they get it over to the county and we take it from there. See where we can come out. Trustee Lex, you had something?
Well, I think one key point that might be included in these recitals is the fact that we can state that upon election, the county sheriff takes an oath to enforce, to support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Colorado and all state and county ordinances
And
in Hinsdale County. And I think that's a key point that he has to do it in our county. But a couple of things on section 4. The third part there, that the town shall not be responsible for any cost incurred for any arrest made under. Oh, I see. Oh, you did change it.
Yeah,
If such arrest occurs in the town,
It's hard with all the straight-throughs and stuff.
okay. Because we don't have any city ordinances that entail arrests, right?
correct.
Correct.
And then mine goes from section 6, 7, and then to 9. Just as
Miss underneath.
Yes.
I apologize. I'm still learning how to count. That's a good catch.
so. Anyway, that's what that's.
Well, those were numbers.
I support safety and memory. Okay, any other trustees?
Is everybody okay with the amount? I mean, I just kind of went off what multiple.
I don't think that they're going to go for it.
Or I agree.
So I think we ought to, if you want this agreement, you should make it higher.
We'll have that discussion.
Well,
Yeah.
that's something that could be negotiated. I think some of the important work that was done in here, you guys all got this, but where Lex went and compared other counties and towns agreements. And one of the ones, I mentioned earlier, I don't think we're that comparable for Silverton with their size of their budget. And one of the things, people are going to get so tired of me bringing this up, but one of the things that's tough about this is our mill levy has to be brought up into the modern day. We are still at 4.3 mills, and all the towns around us are at 10 and 15 or more. And so their income, their budgets are much bigger. But the one that I think kind of mirrors us closely is Town of Crete, Mineral County, and their IGA is 60,000 a year with no annual increase and renews for 2 years. And their town budget, when I looked it up, I didn't bring it with me, but it's at least twice as ours, if not 3 times. So I think at the 60 or 65, that's a good starting point. And then we,
Yeah.
And the key is we got to be able to make it work with our budget. And anyways, the mill levy thing's not an excuse. It's just we operate on a very small budget here. And the county, I know they were discussing today about the property taxes, and the way it's been, you're held to a 5.5% increase per year. So everybody knows ours would have been in the neighborhood of $80,000, but because we had to actually lower our mill levy to do what was successful, the town is collecting on property taxes about that's 65,000.
66,000.
There you go.
A little more than 60.
So this is what we live off of. That's one employee, and we have 9, and all the rest of it, basically is from sales tax, and so we're a service town. But anyways, to me, at the 66,000, we're taking the property tax the town got and giving it back to the county to pay the sheriff. I don't know. I think the key to this is negotiation. Like I said earlier, I wanted all the trustees' input. I appreciate the work that's gone into this, and I think we're close. If you want to fine tune a few of those things and then present it to the county and we see where it comes out.
Okay.
That sound fair?
I'll get everyone.
Can I, just so I make sure I have this, what I'm hearing in addition to that is the hours and days needs to come out. If I can find a way to work with Mike and essentially find something that says we can expect to see roughly the equivalent of a part-time or roughly some kind of way to where we have a metric to say we didn't just give you $100,000 and you wrote 2 tickets and we've never seen you again, or we didn't give you $100,000 and we expect you to be here 24/7, 365, every block, every day. I think that's where a lot of heartburn has come in this negotiation. And I'm not sure how to phrase it right now. Maybe he'll have something great, or maybe the commissioners will come up with something, but is that kind of the way we want to go?
Yeah, well, we need police protection for our citizens, who are also citizens of Hinsdale County.
We're the majority of the population.
Yes,
Yeah.
the majority of the population. I understand that that creates some issues for someone who works so intimately with words. But I think if we say you have to do 20 hours a week, we're going to get a lot of pushback, because how do we know? And then we wonder, do they really do it? You know, I don't, the law enforcement equivalency, is that what that term is?
The patrol service.
So if we had something that was more like that, but we knew what that meant, that would probably be.
Yeah, there's just no tangible measurement in that definition, I guess, is what I'm trying to come up with. And we do not want to dictate anything that I would put in there would be permissive language, not mandatory language saying, hey, strive for this where applicable. But yeah. Okay, I think we're kind of beating a dead horse. I think I understand your guys' concerns.
Yeah, and one last thing,
And
and
if not, call me.
we did remove the definition of a service unit out of it, where all these things are being lumped in to really justify the $100,550, when really we're just giving them jurisdiction, you know, to enforce the basics more or less and to respond to emergencies. But so that service unit language was struck out of attachment A, and I mean, I think by saying having hours or anything like that, that kind of goes back to that. It's like this agreement just means you enforce the law in our town, and that's the end of it. That's really what it's doing. And what that cost covers, or what they find to be worth it, or be fair to them, you know, that's something we need to negotiate. And I would, at the very least, I mean, to have a metric of what that cost should be pinned to, I think it would be a salary, or it would be a service, like a fully equipped law enforcement vehicle, something that's defined and has a useful
Tangible.
life. Yeah, tangible,
Yeah.
and comparable. And that makes life just a lot easier. It makes it simpler on what we're getting out of it, or what we're providing to them to get the service. Anyway, my 2 cents.
All right, well, you know, I think a key to this, like I mentioned earlier, is that the sheriff, it's an elected official and they have their own office, and we're not really pinning them to anything here. And I think as a professional, they'll make those choices, what they feel is the best for the town and the county. And I don't know that you can divine that down to a number of hours. And I would just expect professionalism, and that when we need help, we get help. I want to make it too simple, but I kind of like to go towards common sense. And, you know, we're all a community here, whether we live on the other side of one street or the other. We're all citizens of Hinsdale County.
I think Diane has her hand up more.
Okay, Diane?
I just want to say at the conclusion of this, I just want to thank Dan for for putting together a really viable alternative to what we received. And so really appreciate it. I think it's a really great job.
Thank you. We'll
I-
get it
I
tuned
did-
up into them.
I did quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Come here. There you go. That's, thank you, buddy.
Careful, I bought him a hat for Christmas, it ain't gonna fit. Okay, guys, I think we know where we're at with this. Lex and Dan, we appreciate your work, and continue on. Our next item in the regular workshop this evening is to discuss the resolution 2025-18 affordable housing fast track policy. You guys get a chance to read that. And Lex, I'll let you go, Lex, why this has come to be.
Yeah, this is with the local planning capacity grant that we received, and actually the state is requiring that that there's a deadline by the end of next year that all communities do it. However, if we get it done this year, before the end of the year, then we will be eligible for an additional $50,000 with that grant that has no match, which we would create a scope of work for to help implement the housing strategy, which will be completed here in a couple of weeks. And what this just says that any application we get, like a building permit for an affordable housing development or ADU or whatever it is, that we're more or less putting a policy in place that says that it will get reviewed and either approved or denied within 90 days, either way. So, and that we already meet that. We already kind of meet that requirement. It's just they want to see a policy that's specifically for affordable housing with certain state language in it. And so that's what this does.
So what's,
Well, that answered part of my question. Why does it say in the third whereas that we have not adopted specific zoning? We definitely have zoning.
No, we haven't adopted a specific zoning code. We haven't changed it in our zoning code yet. This is just a policy. We haven't adopted an ordinance or done a land use change or anything like that. So, we're not even incorporating this into the code. It's something that we'll end up most likely doing later. But for now, since we already meet that 90-day review period, this is what they want to see in order for us to say we're committed to that. And then we'll be able to do any kind of ordinance or zoning change at a later.
well, as hard as there's so many people working on trying to get us this workforce housing project in, which based on all the studies they've done and all that, it's crucial for our town. We have to have the ability for people to live and work here and afford to be here. And 50,000 is 50,000. If that can help us with that project, I'm in support. Any other trustees have any questions or comments on that?
Here.
Maybe done with that one? Okay, that is an action item. Okay, our next item is to discuss resolution 2025-19, calling for a regular municipal election by mail ballot on April 7th, 2026. This one is one of those that's a formality because people are up for election coming up in April, and it's hard to elect people if you don't have an election. So.
Okay, this is not just a call for an election.
It's also appointing clerk as the.
Right, but it's also a call to have. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Back up. I didn't say anything. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's also making the town clerk the.
Yeah, no, that wasn't it.
Okay.
I was, yeah, sorry. I
That's
wasn't
fine.
thinking.
Everybody gets one mulligan a night. I mean, trustee.
Witness.
Okay, Lex, do you have anything else to say about that?
No, formality, we need to do it now. January 6th is when the petitions can go around, candidate petitions.
Okay. All right, and that is also an action item this evening. Next item is discuss ordinance 2025-05 vacating the alley on lots 1 through 11 and 22 through 32, block 21.
So this is the lots by the medical center where eventually we're hoping to build some like workforce housing there. So it's just one of the many steps that we're going to need to take. And we decided, we can go ahead and just get that out of the way. It's simply vacating the alley that's on those lots.
I'm guessing the med center had to do the same thing.
They did at some portion of it, correct. Well, yeah,
Right.
correct. Part of it, yeah.
Trustee Woods?
I guess my suggestion that we retain the part by the river for permanent public access.
Yeah, the intention is to keep that trail along the side of it.
Where is that in this part?
In the,
So-
This is
that's kind of beyond the scope of this. All this is saying is we won't use that specific right of way. We're still the underlying property owners.
But not, maybe not forever.
Right. So that would be if we want to create a easement or some kind of access, we can certainly do that. I find it cleaner to vacate in one ordinance because there are statutory requirements about, leaving a property without access, or it's not going to be used for municipal purpose or all that stuff. If you'd like me to draft something, we can certainly bring it back.
Just addressing the alley. Knowing so far, is there any kind of threat to that access being removed?
And I think as people have seen, they have the housing meeting and some of the modeling that they've done and the layout. There is provision in there to keep that walking trail and actually develop it and make it even feel more park-like. And that'll be nice for the people that live there as well as people that want to access down to there. As you go on, that trail ends pretty much at the medical center now anyways.
Well,
We can go through the,
it goes all the way down to the next block down the alley.
okay, have you walked it over?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I don't think we want to impede with that. So,
I was just looking at some documents recently, but there's a recorded document that Ray Blum signed years ago, but it puts that public access on the river part and then it ties into the alley. And it's in perpetuity in a quitclaim deed. So for what that's worth.
Right on.
I think 07 or 09.
I'd sure like to
That's
see
town
it
property,
dedicated.
so
Pardon?
that's town property that we're
Well, it
talking
was
about.
Lake Fork Health Service District is who.
Right, that built on town property,
Right.
so that we,
That's good to know that. I didn't know.
But that, yeah, I can bring it.
but that's,
to that.
yeah, that's good. And the trail does go behind all of that, which would be the Water Street right of way. So, and then it pops over to the alley in his big house. Sorry,
no, that's great.
I
Thank
like
you
to
for that
get geeky
information.
about this stuff.
I just looked at it.
Okay, well, I don't think anybody here is looking to shut down any public access along.
We talked about that specifically when we were walking.
Okay. Well, back to this, I agree with Dan, keep it simple, and this is just to, pass the ordinance to vacate the alley property's lot so that they can continue with the design there with, they don't have to avoid, design reviews, leaving the alley. Any other discussion? Then our next item is ordinance 2025-06 restricting short-term rentals in multifamily housing complex.
But this was based on, the discussion that the board has had and from some suggestions that our housing consultants had. And because of just the limited amount of rentals that are available in town. And also, but I didn't really have a chance to read this till this morning. And, it doesn't apply to anything that's a commercial lodging business. It needs to actually be clear in this that it says that. And because I did get a call from G&M Cabins today and one of the RV parks, and I assured them, I was like, no, you're a commercial lodging business. It does not apply to you.
That's not true.
The way it's written, right. I do feel
That
like
was the intent.
that was the intent. But yes, I do believe that there needs to be greater detail and clarity in here on who and what it applies to.
So this doesn't apply to
The way it's written, it applies to everybody.
the central business district or the tourist zoning either, right?
T1, but T2 is residential.
You don't have any zoning in this.
Yeah, it doesn't refer to any zoning in it. So I can see why certain people would be concerned. Why, how, and why it's so broad.
Yeah.
And also part of the intent to, just so y'all know, I know why you're here, that like even if it was in one of the zoning districts in which the intent was to restrict that, and if someone already currently has a permit, that wouldn't mean they couldn't renew it. It wouldn't mean we're taking it from them. They would have it for as long as they kept it. It just would mean that it wouldn't be able to change hands, or it wouldn't if it got revoked or if they just didn't pay it or renew it, then it just wouldn't be available to them anymore, or to that particular thing.
Michael?
So the way it's written,
Yeah.
Sucks.
it's, you can tell, you got a lot of people here.
Yeah.
It's the
So,
first draft.
no, I understand.
And I shouldn't have it as an action item.
No, it's also.
Okay, one at a time.
Yeah, that was my bad. I should have read it first.
So general business district, does it pertain to general business?
That wasn't the,
It refers to residential zoning. It does,
No, it doesn't.
it says residential, which, okay, well,
yeah, district.
I'm not gonna argue with that.
Well, then in the section, I can see it is a bit vague. Section 23.5 is about issuing short-term rental permits.
Within residential district.
Right. Well, yes, indeed. Well, and then also it does address non-residential permits as well. So I think it needs to be more specific in order for the intent and purpose of it that we had originally conceived, for it to be clear and not ambiguous or overreaching, I guess. So yeah, I definitely don't think we should act on it tonight. It's my opinion. And that we need to kind of clarify some of this and make it more specific to what our intent was. And, like, that is a good question. If it is in the central business district and it's a multi-unit, multi-family place that's not already a commercial lodging business, is that something that we're looking to apply to it as well?
Yes.
Well, I think you guys need to worry about takings here. You've got a real legal issue if you start taking away somebody's bundle of rights within their real estate. And go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I think he has hand raised. What were you
Oh, I
gonna-
saw him a second ago, sorry.
No, well, I'll just share this. I just got it today and got to read over it. And
Yeah.
it's very vague and it's very preliminary, but I think people need to understand why this discussion even began. And that was going through, you can explain it probably better than me, but working with these housing consultants and trying to get in a workforce housing, they look at the numbers of units. And we as a board had thought, we haven't capped the number of short-term rentals, but it's happening all over the state and the county where they're getting to be so many of them.
We do have a cap.
That is,
We do have a cap.
Only
We haven't
residential
reached
zones. Right.
Okay, we do
we're not
have-
even at that cap, but we were asked to look at that and that it would help us in our project by doing our best to maintain year-round housing that exists. And that's how it was explained to me. But when I saw it, I wasn't ready. In fact, I was a little surprised to see it as an action item this evening because I still don't understand it. And I will personally, we have a long way to go. And also, decide exactly what it's achieving and is it for the best interest of the community.
So I want to just bring up one thing.
Okay.
Judge Marion Holmesworth, and I know Jud's behind me, and I'm not speaking for him, I'm speaking about him.
Speak up,
They've done a community I'm sorry?
speak up, please.
They've done a community service, keeping that building up, low rents and everything else. If you're gonna go ahead and punish them and not allow, if they need it for retirement or the next buyer needs it for short-term rental, you are reducing the value of that property. And there's no question. And I mean, it's still America, guys. Go ahead, Henry.
So that's in the general business district, right? Correct?
No. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it is.
What's the zoning?
I'm sorry.
So I believe that the central business district, the general business district and the tourist zoning, it's, short-term rentals are a use by right.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
This
But
this is not affecting
No, we
anything.
understand that this document is.
This document does do that.
Yeah, we get that.
What's that?
The way it's written, Henry, it does apply that, for sure.
It says residential zoning right there.
No, it
No, it
doesn't say
doesn't.
residential district.
District.
The word zoning is not in it.
Yeah, that it's not, there's not the word zoning.
Mayor, can I
There's-
interject real quick?
Hey, hang on.
Residential zoning. You know, huh?
Hang on.
Which is only one district, and that's Fall Flats.
I'll give everybody a chance.
Apartments are
to
in
answer.
residential zoning.
Okay, all
Hang on.
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I thought this was being brought as a preliminary matter. And so this is absolutely why we have this public discourse. You guys might have very valid thoughts that I've never considered because I don't know the specifics there, and I'd love to hear them all. So I really think that we all agree this shouldn't be an action item. I don't know if you're able to reduce those or reduce your concerns to, hey, I'm concerned that in this case, here's what I don't want to be a negative side effect, or hey, I think that this should really target prohibiting it in this condo because this neighbor is going to be at this neighbor's throat or whatever it may be. But I apologize if this was just supposed to get the conversation started. It looks like it did. So I'm not shutting anyone down. I'm not trying to take anyone's rights. Just here to listen.
They have to change our zoning,
Yeah.
do what you're saying.
Yeah. Stay in order.
So, thank you, and I appreciate the conversation and you guys pulling it off and maybe not taking a vote tonight on it. Thank you,
No.
thank you. When I first read it today, of course, my little realtor alarm bells went off, but as written, it would be, to my count, 20 properties that would be affected. Because as it says, no short-term rental permit shall be issued to any multifamily dwelling, including but not limited to condominiums, apartments, townhomes, or similar structures. So you think about G&M cabinets, those are all condominiums. I know it's not your intent, but how it's written, G&M cabinets popped up for me.
Are those
Apartment,
currently, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, are those currently short-term rentals?
condominiums.
And it's a
And they're in
commercial
this-
lodging business.
And they are in the central business district, which segues back to why it's so important to reference whatever district you are affecting.
Right.
But the other question I had as I was reading through that was, out of those 20, I have 7 apartment buildings, 3 condominiums properties, 3 duplexes. So, and one of those duplexes currently, they do Airbnb. I know 2 apartment buildings that they do Airbnb. So, there's also one common interest community, which that's the Iron Kettle Common Interest Community. So is that a quote unquote similar property?
Right.
So anyway, I'm glad we're having the conversation. I think you guys understand the concerns from the public when we read it and went, now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So it would definitely kill some revenue too, for sure, if that happened. But anyway, thank you.
Well, and I think we all agree this is very preliminary, and before we would take any action, I suggest input from realtors, people in the business, and help us develop this, and we'll find out if it's something that we can really achieve or even want to. But the intent was, as I stated earlier, is to keep a balance in the town, and we have got to have more long-term housing. There are also people that choose to keep it. Yeah, the money in the short-term rental market sounds really great, but in the big picture, if you study this, it's even nationwide, but also in Colorado, the short-term rental thing hit a boom, and now it's starting to die off. In fact, Danielle and I even talked a little bit, there's towns like Breckenridge that are in huge trouble, and homes are going into foreclosure right and left because the investors were coming out, buying them as fast as they can, go, man, this is great, this is easy, quick money, and it's killing them now. And so part of all of this discussion with these housing experts is keep balance. And so I believe that's where this came from. But, Yeah, nothing tonight, and I would want as much community input as possible. And maybe it's something we can't do, but I know it was coming from a good intention. And that is to be able to keep housing, you know? Through these studies, I don't know if you guys have been following up, but we can get you copies of them. But there's a lot of interesting factors Lake City has to think about. And one of them is the median age. You know, more than, what is it, 50 or 60% of our population is over 65 years old. And we need young families here. And that's something, you know, believe me, my heart, I understand the real estate thing. You know, we all got to make a living, but at the same time, we need to be smart about it. And so as a community, that's what we're striving for, is the ability to get more young families in here to have a balanced community. And that was a suggestion from the housing authority.
Totally understand, but don't charge the people that have been giving it this whole time. And that's what this does. You're going to punish the people that have made it available to everybody. And, you know, they own it. You don't own it, I don't own it. They own it. And don't take their value away.
Can I make one
Appreciate
final
that.
comment? Oh, sorry.
He's been waiting.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, I just jumped in.
No.
Number one, is my property affected in the zoning of this?
No, your central business district. Yeah, well,
Okay, that's
Yeah,
one.
you're a commercial property.
Number two, what's to prevent the businesses from raising their rent to compensate the loss in revenue with the B&Bs?
nothing.
So then you're not gonna be able to create housing for the people that need it. If you're gonna raise your rent and they can't afford it, what is the point?
Valid.
That is where the free market comes in.
You need
Exactly, so
jobs.
don't limit free market.
Exactly.
Well, the free market has limits. Every day, every bit of the free market has limits. We're trying to find a way to walk a line that does not prevent people from being out there making money, but also supporting the growth of Lake City, because it's dying and we need to do things.
You're
about that.
limited in the amount of growth you can do just geologically.
We have zero growth and we're going backwards.
We're losing population. Yeah.
So, anyway,
Because there's not-
sorry, I didn't mean to,
It's okay. I just want everybody to have their opportunity, but one at a time. Landon, you were next.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I've, personally opposed the decreasing or cap of permits. I've opposed quite a bit of it. I see the benefit of Airbnbs that, we're a tourist-based town, so there's a tourist base that is an in and out community that comes through the community that spends lots of dollars. So I see that side specifically, that's a huge benefit to Lake City, and I've always expressed that.
Yeah, just along those lines, I'm sorry, and I just have to respond. I agree. I am a huge proponent of the Airbnb short-term rentals. They saved Lake City because we didn't have motels and we didn't have lodges, and we had to put our visitors somewhere. And I am a big fan of it. That doesn't mean I don't think that there should be some reins on the situation.
Okay, Trustee Woods?
So when I read this, I just assumed that it only applied to the residential zoning districts. Because that's what it says. Because the other zonings are, it's a use by right. So I think that settles the issue right there. But I also want to say that, Judd, I really appreciate that you provide workforce housing down there. And I would never want to do anything to interfere with that.
I agree.
So thank you. And I believe the whole board believes that.
Yeah, well, like I said, this was very preliminary. It's obvious we're not taking any action on because we don't even know what we're taking action on. But I appreciate the input. Danielle?
So when you were talking about intent, I was a little surprised because when you read the ordinance, it brought up about more easily negatively affected by noise, overcrowded parking, trash, related nuisances often associated with short-term rentals. So I thought it was maybe about that. And I thought, well, isn't that like a public health and safety issue, not necessarily you need to change a whole ordinance. But that might be more effective to put within the ordinance, Lex, that it's about balanced housing or something. I don't know.
That is.
So anyway, but thank you.
So I just have one other quick thought that just hit me, and that's scary.
I didn't hear that one.
That's it. I just have one more thought, and it just hit me, and that's scary.
Oh,
So it may not be right, but
I just heard scary and you scared me.
yeah. I know. But instead of punishing somebody, incentivize them with a tax credit. Give them some reason or something such as that
That's coming.
to where they get it.
Yeah, that's coming too.
Is it
Yeah,
Good.
we'll be working on that next year.
good? Well, so now you're leading with a carrot. You're not.
I'm a big fan
following
of
up with a
carrots.
stick.
Yeah.
So,
Well, our intent is not to hurt anyone. We're trying to do what's best for the town. And once again, balance. But
And I've received
this
calls.
is nowhere near ready for anything.
Well,
Judge?
walking and raising.
sometimes when people stand, it's a negative thing, so you say negative, and I get my full pause. That's not quite right. I just want, Mary and I speak seldom for Mary. She's we love this community. We've been here for a while, and we're not gonna. Our track record's pretty damn decent. Hers is salvation. So my point that I want y'all to be thinking about is we have our property for sale. It's not a fire sale. Thank you, good Lord. Lord, my point is, over recent times, we've worked hard to try that our apartments are not the greatest places. But we have had renters that have been there for many years. But and some of them passed away. I get some. Bear with me because I'll do this, I'll get the hell. Maybe I won't, I'll just like all of you. But, okay. And we have it for sale. It's not a fire sale, we just stated. But I'm trying to, I'm 78 years old, I say. I'm trying to consolidate some things and make sure my family doesn't have things to contend with if I'm not around. In just recent years, that y'all are very well aware of, which was definitely had to happen. The sewer plant had to happen. You can look, and nobody's going to take that on blame, but it is a substantial increase of our expenditure. Insurance has gone up from in 2024 to 2025, went from 2,000 to 3,000. I'm not a nonprofit organization, right? And wants to really do it right, but you push us to a point. Is do we raise these prices, these working folks? It's not. I can show you on anyone that's here that's want to look at my profit margins and something to it. I work damn cheap. There's no money that I put in that's counted. There's not that tax stuff. And show you. So property taxes is getting ready to jump up. It jumps up. We're going up $35 per unit for 2026 in March. All our doors no good. And $35, I think for everybody sitting here, probably in nothing. Feel my tenants, it is something. I'm serious. That's not gonna cover what the increases. And the state has some incredible laws that protect horrible individuals that have problems. I'm not gonna go into them because, well, I will. I really will. Yeah, 90 days to when you give a tenant, they need to go. You give a tenant a 30-day notice when they're 1 month behind. You do it 2 months behind. You do it 3 months behind. Okay, that's 3 months. Let's say 2 months. So you're hard. If you're hard less, you do it immediately. So it's 90 days after that. So if you waited, we're going to say 2 months. You're talking about 5 months of not getting anything. This is another one. You have 15 days that you're responsible for their property or goods. I just, yeah, it's really easy. You don't have that skin in the game. And I take this is another one too. My realtors here. My property value is $700,000. This is before. This is in 25. I think it's going to be more. Okay. We have it on the market for $600,000. Right? We're negotiable. We've had with you. You were interested in purchasing the property. We're negotiable. Because I don't think if y'all go under, who gives a damn rolling? No response, baby. None. Am I upset? Yes. Did y'all notify us that this was coming down on us? No.
No, like I said, Judd, I just got it. But here, if I could, I really appreciate your sentiments and what you're talking about. And what I would like to do as we move forward, you be part of this discussion. But we're getting a little bit off.
Okay.
Tonight was just to introduce that ordinance and it got, there's no way it should have been on
And
an
that's
action
another,
item tonight.
and that's another one that really fought, that one. And it's interesting, 3 is the fourth. We're here when I was here. It's been a while, so congratulations to all of you. You know, how long you been? But that was another one that disappointed me. I mean, let those individuals just know. Okay. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you want-
And I would like,
And wait, I'm not leaving involved. Oh, my God, you don't want me to. But what I'm trying to say is I really appreciate what y'all are going through. I just.
no, Judd, I want to get us back on track, but I got to tell you something. When it comes to the cost on everything, we're all eating it right now, and it's everywhere. Electricity and everything.
Yeah,
I do want to throw in one little defense
Yes.
on the town. When it comes to that wastewater treatment plant, we were handed that. You and I were together when that can got kicked down the road. Nobody did any
I was on the board
financing,
too.
planning for the future. But I want to defend the town a little bit. There was a study by the state and we were told where those rates were supposed to go. And we scraped as tight as we could and Lex came up with a plan. We are under quite a bit by what was suggested. So now I'm getting off track, but I do have to, there's too much bad information about what's going on with that wastewater treatment plant. And I will tell you, this is my standing on that. We did what we had to do. And from a realtor standpoint, let me know how your house sells when you got a porta potty at the end of the driveway because the state shut you down. So that's my take on that. But we're also experiencing cost, but I appreciate your insight and I want us all to work together. And this might not happen at all. There was something as we're trying to work on housing, you know, for younger families, not even just younger families, but the ability to live here. Because we could wake up, you know, I've said it for a long, long time. If you don't have young folks to run these businesses and that can make it here, who's going to be that firefighter that puts your house out? Who's going to be that EMT that comes and pounds on your chest when you're flopping on your kitchen floor? I want to retire here too, Judd. And, you know, you're looking at the cost of things nowadays. I don't know if I will be able to stay here. It's one of the reasons I'm trying to do what I can do to keep some kind of sense and balance because we're in a crazy world right now. But I hear what you're saying and I very much appreciate it. As I think I appreciate all the years you put in and you understand what it's like being in the seats.
It sucks.
We're not, we're doing the best that we can, but I want to end this item with a thank you, but also it's not an action item tonight and I can tell we have a long way to go. But I will appreciate anybody's input and ideas so that we can come up with what's best for the community. Because nobody here is out to get anybody.
You need that help, I'm sure.
Thank you, Judd.
I know we'll be.
Yeah.
You did say
For sure.
basically that I should not say anything else.
Bye, Jeff.
No, Judd.
To me, I had my hand up, and to me, I understood.
No, we were listening.
Which Jeff?
I think,
No, I'm sorry.
I think the point is,
I get that, okay, I get that.
and as we work on this in the future, Judd, I would like your input.
Yes. So, I definitely, go ahead.
It would make a big difference for me if the people that spoke sounded
That's true.
like we usually do.
Okay.
Yeah, well, typically, I'm just letting you know, I'm doing something that is going against my own ideals because typically workshops are for us to sit and discuss. But I like to give people opportunity and I appreciate people who are respectful. But, you know, I hope I was not trying to pick on Judd. It was just going out of the context of where we're at and we need to keep it in line. I can tell you this, other boards do not even let people speak in their workshops one word. And so I think I'm trying to, us as a board is trying to be fair and hear you. And I hope you hear me when I say, I'm asking for your help. And we will see where this goes, but we are not ready tonight.
I got one last thing. I think we should have a public hearing on it. So that both, but both the property owners, the realtors, and the people that live in some of these multi-unit ones that have come to me and are concerned about kicking out, losing their job, not being in Lake City anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure that's where you're heading.
So that all those different aspects or those affected by something like this would be able to have an opportunity to speak. And I apologize for putting an action item. I should have read it. I went to receipt it yesterday before I put it on there. I apologize. I won't do that.
And Mayor, I apologize for interrupting. I agree with everything Lex just said. I did hear some of the audio sounded great from here and from the audience, and some of it didn't go very well. So prior to that public hearing, if whoever's out there can give us whatever comments they have, I'd love to incorporate those and come up kind of with the best product we can.
Okay, and that's my fault. We have the hot seat right there for people to sit in. It wasn't my intent to open it up to everybody. It was a discussion, but I'm glad. I appreciate the citizens that come and at least, you know, pay attention.
This is the first time we've had this many people sitting here in how many people? About 8 months. It's empty 99% of the
I
time.
sat up there for 8 years. I get it.
Yeah. And I always bring up, we used to fill this whole room up with all those chairs.
Yeah.
And it's not been like that lately. And I just am happy you guys are here.
Once again, that's a tale of the young people versus us old farts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Let me see.
Okay, you're- Bless you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I just would like to make one comment.
Okay.
I'm done. It's a little controversial maybe for the community here, but you can get rid of your OHVs and all these other money-making stuff. You open a casino.
You remember that was talked about years ago.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
In the
right.
70s and 80s.
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah, you should have got the response when I suggested bringing Bluff Street back to life. They were talking about gambling and I said, well, they go hand in hand. So-
Yep.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate a little bit of humor. I try to keep things light around here. But thank you guys for your time and, you know,
Guys, we don't
the cart got in front of the horse. So,
Show up to help.
Yeah, I wanted to learn.
yeah,
Go on.
and that's what it's all about. And I appreciate that very
I will
much.
start personally inviting both of you.
I won't make everything.
Anybody else here?
That's
We'll do it the Lake
Okay,
City
thank
way.
you.
Thank you. Y'all be nice.
We'll do it the Lake City way. Have another committee and you two are in charge of it.
Yeah.
And then you come back with yours.
Yeah.
That's what we need is more committees for this.
Just change the hat.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Arlene. What?
How's your, the commencement speech?
I'll just.
All right.
Okay, thanks. We went a little bit over that. My apologies, but
It was good.
It's
It was good.
yeah, it was a good discussion. Okay. Our next item is discuss Green and Associates 2025 audit engagement.
Yeah, there's the formality so that we can start, get accepted. We originally had signed up for 5 years, which I didn't think we had to do this every year, but it is something that we can do every year. This is going to be the 5th year.
Perfect here.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, and he's really good to work with and knows and helped fix stuff like that
We've
was wrong.
had this
Yeah.
feller before.
Yes.
This will be the 5th year in a row.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
Yeah, 4 5th year, 4 years. Well, he helped us do I think he helped us catch up to the 2019 to 2021. And so, yeah, but we did that. We did like 2 of them 1 year. So anyways, just formality.
Okay, and that one is an action item tonight. And one of the things that I'm very happy about is we're not trying to catch up with 3 years of audit. We are on schedule. And the way the staff has our accounting in order should go relatively smoothly here. And we have worked with them in the past.
Right.
And then I spoke with Lex and, you know, after the X number of years, then we can also go up to bid again and shop around. But at this moment in time, I think it's the right thing to do is just stick with them again.
Yeah.
There it is. Is review of Lake Fork housing site plan examples selected at the open house charrette.
So I just wanted to share this with you guys. What came out of that charrette is something I
Charrette.
charrette,
Pretty bad when he's correcting
Turret?
print.
I thought it was turret.
whatever it is.
It's a word I've never heard before. and
Yeah, it's
That's
one of those French things.
Yeah,
that's very unusual.
I've heard others pronounce it charrette.
Okay.
But so yeah, I just wanted y'all to see what that was because I know some of you weren't able to attend that.
So this is the one that won?
That's the site plan that won out of the 2.
Yeah.
And then also like what the design aesthetic would kind of like what they're focusing on, what the outside of the buildings will look like. So I just wanted that for your information.
No, I like the rest, like that material type.
What's
Yeah.
the big thing in the river there?
It's a fish.
I have no idea.
Looks like
It says the Lake Fork of the Gunnison
it's
River.
coming from the west.
So I'm disappointed it doesn't show the dedicated
Trail.
trail.
It
No,
notes it right
This
there.
was just a very preliminary
That
conceptual
web
site
shows very
plan.
close.
River path.
Then we'll leave the trail. We've already said that.
Yeah, they
It
know
does
that.
note it. It just does not draw it in.
It doesn't draw it in, but it has it there.
This was just a concept for people to choose between 2 different concepts.
Yeah.
And this one this concept, which one has the parking lot minimal.
Yeah.
This isn't the final plat of, or even official site plan of the place. It's just the general layout of the building.
I like the parking lot in the middle because it kind of hides all the cars. Back
Yeah.
in the apartment complex.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's off the road, so it cleans up the neighborhood.
Yeah.
and creates better fire access to all the.
Yes, exactly. Well, yeah.
For,
Yeah.
for educational purpose, the American pronunciation is.
Charette.
Sure, man.
Charette. Charette.
Okay,
We all
meeting
learned
adjourned.
something tonight.
So anyways, it was just for y'all's reference, so you knew, y'all what y'all know.
So, are we going to the next one now?
Oh, that's up to Dave.
No, anybody else have any comments on that? On the site plan? Questions? That's the one that I guess was most
community.
popular.
Yeah. That we
Yeah,
voted on.
this is where we all put the dots on the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
Angel.
Okay, if we're done with that, one, any trustees have anything else you'd like to say on that? Okay, then we'll move on. That was the last item on our workshop.
On
Oh, but he wants to go over the
the second one, the charrette,
design plans.
are these styles we're supposed to
No.
pick or something?
Okay,
No.
so I'm sorry, you weren't there. All the people that were there milling about had little dots. And then these were the like vision boards, and everyone put a dot on the ones that they liked, that they appealed to them. And these are the ones obviously that got the most dots. So somebody else already picked all of them.
Yeah, this is like, so you can see where these are not highlighted. Those didn't win the thing. These are material types that won.
And then the
Who voted for a blue house, but
The
Sure.
architect,
so this is like what won. These are just idea concepts. This has nothing to do
I
with
think
what
it's
it can actually look like. It's just kind of gives him a materialist dynamic to go off of to scale
yeah,
it.
for the
that
architect to be inspired.
Right.
All right, then it'll all be subject to our preservation.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Somewhat, yes.
Yes, they had say and they voted as well.
They were there representing. And I was there and I voted.
Me too. What is our next thing? At 7?
Oh, faster than anticipated.
Okay, I
And
think
then I thought we were gonna have our housing plan too, but they weren't ready for it. They're not gonna have it for till Thursday, so I had to take that off.
okay, we will be changing the agenda to get rid of that one word.
Oh,
At the same time, we're gonna finalize your contract. Do we have any discussion on that now, or is it just strictly?
Well, we have to go.
No, I mean, I guess we could, but I mean,
Well, I
go ahead.
know
It's not
there's a
on
couple
the
little
agenda.
things, there
It's
was a
not
couple
on the
little
We
changes,
can
and I didn't know
discuss-
if you want
We
to
can
discuss that
then.
then.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
Then I'll make a motion to change the agenda.
not yet.
that
Well,
later,
yeah.
once we're in
But we
the,
can simply just have a motion to postpone, or right, Dan, for that.
Well, we don't really make any decisions in a workshop. It's just for informational purposes. So once we open the other meeting,
Of the agenda.
yeah.
Okay.
that being said, there's nothing else on our agenda for the regular workshop, and so I'm now closing the workshop, and we will reconvene at 7:00 PM. Good evening, everyone. It is 7:00 PM on Wednesday, December the 17th, 2025. And I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Lake City Board of Trustees. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Kendall, can you please lead it?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Bruce. Bruce. Oh, it's coming. Oh, you muted then unmuted. Then unmuted and muted, Diane. Bruce? She's not. She is. I see her, Diane, but I don't hear her. Diane, will you please unmute?
Trustee Bruce, roll call.
Ron's probably yelling at her.
Yeah, she's tall.
Okay,
We're in our meeting.
No, I'm trying to get my thing to work.
Okay.
Will you say here?
Will you say here?
Will you
Here,
say here? Oh.
Unmute.
sorry, I'm trying to get my things to work. Hang on.
You got it. You got it.
Okay,
Bruce. All right, Kendall. Here.
How would I do it?
You're good. You were doing it. Yeah, we can hear you. Winnery.
Yes.
Woods. Weiss.
I hate it.
Roberts.
here. Okay. Approval of agenda for the regular meeting December 17th, 2025. Okay,
If someone make a motion and
Yeah.
strike.
Can I make a motion? I make a motion to strike the action item 4 to discuss possible action items to approve ordinance 2025-06 restricting short-term rentals in multifamily home complexes.
Second.
motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Bruce. Kendall.
Yes.
Lindsay.
Yes,
Winnery.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Weiss. Roberts. I don't know.
Yes. Okay, and now with that change, I need a approval of the remaining agenda,
No, you approved the agenda with
removing that.
removing that.
All right. I make a motion to approve the now current agenda after striking.
No, you already did it.
Oh.
You already did it.
I didn't make a motion to approve.
No, you motioned it with the revision of.
Okay.
That's where I was.
I strike my motion.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I said anything.
It's okay.
Our next item is regular meeting minutes from December 3rd, 2025. Everybody have a chance to review that?
I move to accept the minutes of, December 3rd, 2025.
I second.
Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Bruce. Kendall.
Yes.
Lindsay.
Yes,
Winnery.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
No.
Okay, next item is special meeting minutes from December 10th.
Yep, I make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of 12-10-25. Second.
Motion in a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Bruce.
yes,
Kendall.
Yes.
Lindsay.
yes.
Winnery.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes. Next, bills payable. And this evening. 17.
That one, now I'm good.
Any red flags, anything you need to explain to us, like?
No, I mean, let me look at it. Hold on, I didn't create them.
Yeah, major payment to Western Station.
Yeah, we have, big payments to our consultants for the housing plan and for the design and engineering.
Question.
Yep.
On 8-9, it says reimbursement. Is that an actual, is that positive? Does it count as reimbursement?
Yeah,
Okay.
he is a part-time employee. He bought some things for the ice wall. I believe while he was in Montrose.
So does his money come back?
Yeah, he spent his own money on it.
Okay. Gonna
And,
Not coming back.
Yeah, not coming back. Reimbursing him.
and we have a big bill from Quality Consulting Service for the wastewater treatment plant. And we got our, and then the law enforcement contracts on here and the building enforcement contract, the final one here. The final payment of the year. And then, yeah, again, the Western Spaces.
And wastewater treatment. Those are everything's.
Building enforcement contract.
Okay.
That we
Okay. Any questions or comments on those bills?
I make a motion to pay the bills in the total amount of $161,455.02.
Second. Motion second, roll call vote.
Bruce,
Yes.
Kendall,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Winery,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes,
Roberts.
Yes. Our next item is citizen comments on items not on the agenda. We have no citizens left in the room. We have some citizens online. Anybody online wants to make a comment, please unmute yourself, raise your hand, or show your face. Seeing none, we will move on to committee reports. First one is Lake County Crystal Water Activity Enterprise, Dustin Wood.
well, the water flowing out of the lake is 25.1 cubic feet per second right now. The guy was there the other day when I went by, the USGS guy calibrated. And, we pay $16,000 a year for them to come 6 times a year and calibrate the thing, which seems excessive to me, but
Who's we? Go.
the Lakes Uncristable Water Activity are, both the Gate View gauges and the Henson Creek gauges are out of commission right now.
Anything else? Okay, any questions for trustee Wood? Appreciate it. Thank you for the report. We'll move on to the Gunnison Basin Roundtable. Once again, trustee Woods.
So they made my job easy this month. Because they did a report of the meeting, which I hope I forwarded to Lex, and I hope he sent it to all you guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did, because I got it again.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to add.
Lovely. Couple things I wanted to add. One is, I guess they don't put much credence in Martin Luther King Day, because our meeting was scheduled for Martin Luther King Day, and there was a motion to reschedule, and it was voted down.
January 19th.
Yes. So I'll be in Montrose on January 19th for that meeting. The big deal is that was discussed was the whole operation of Lake Powell and Lake Mead. And I hope you guys also got that schematic of Lake Powell.
Yeah. Pray for snow.
It's dangerously low. And with no relief in sight.
I just wonder about the dam itself, because the dam at Blue Mesa, it can only go so low because the water's what's holding that arch in place. And they say if it gets too low, that dam will damage itself. And if they're not getting water down on one of the biggest dams in the country, that could be horrible.
They have a threshold that they will not
Yeah.
go past due to.
But what if
water
nothing's
power.
running in?
Well, they're outletters, but they go all.
They would hold it back. But
Yeah.
still, then they hold it back, then it extrapolates what they're having the problem with in Lake Powell and all those other lakes, because they're not getting this flow down there,
Yeah.
the Colorado River.
The power plant itself has to run at a certain
Yeah.
capacity.
But they say that if it gets below that, it can actually damage. the
Yeah,
dam.
yeah.
And who knows what the future will bring for those massive lakes down in that area.
Well,
Build more dams.
when I was at Western State College, there was water running over the top of Blue Mesa Reservoir.
Really? Forgot to open the gates.
And we went out and my roommate took me out there and we dived off the Lake City Bridge.
Yeah.
I've done that.
I was there for about.
Obviously, at first.
Okay, anything else on the Gunnison Basin Roundtable? Yes,
Somebody has questions.
no, just keep hoping, we get a big winter.
I do want to say one other thing, we're, these negotiations with the lower basin states are just, the whole thing is that they're basing everything that they want on the demand for the water.
Not now.
Other basin states are trying to get all the negotiations based on the supply, because we can't supply their demands.
Yeah.
That's the supply and demand and supply.
I've heard that farmers in California flood fields that don't even have crops in them so they can keep their water rights up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous that they're using our water to do that.
Okay? Thank you. Next is Historic Preservation Commission. I don't see Mr. Fox online.
No, but I did get something from Judd earlier, today. The Historic Preservation Commission, is composed of Joe Fox, Jared Boyd, Mike Coffin, and Judd Hollingsworth. The commission would like another member, which we would give the full slate of 5. We are advertising currently for 3 open positions. Because 2 of their terms are up and we have the vacant one. We haven't got any letters. The commission has received 2 certificates of appropriateness in 2025, both for the same project. The request is for metal skirting around the building and using metal on the gables of the house. The approval was unanimously approved. That's what they had.
Okay, any questions? Hearing none, next is Chamber of Commerce, Trustee Kendall.
Yeah, we had a meeting yesterday and, the, monies were given out, the lodging tax monies, and less than it was asked for. I mean, we've cut back on stuff that we were gonna get, so I guess it's kind of going around all over town like that. And, they voted on the budget and it passed. They auctioned 23 trees, weighing $740. It was the shortest meeting I've ever been in for the Chamber of Commerce. It was less than half an hour. Because there's just not a lot on the agenda. And the rest isn't that. We can do all the fireworks donations. They're still looking for some of that. But that's it.
Oh,
Oh,
What
sorry.
was going on there Friday night?
stocking.
Oh, yeah.
It was a stocking fundraiser for We Care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Santa was
And
there.
Santa was there.
And it wasn't me. But I did go and help shovel the snow so they could set up the tent.
Them showed up too.
and,
Everywhere.
since you represent the chamber, I was just gonna pass this on, but I got some comments on the fact that the mayor wasn't there for the tree lighting. And I've done it every year, but it's not a town event, it's a chamber event, and was never asked. And, neither was Lex, and so I'm not just trying to pass a buck, I'm just saying I would have been happy to do it if I was asked, but there's other times I've been asked to speak, and then the next year they use somebody else, so I didn't. Well, of course, then the following year they wanted me back, but
Maybe it's every other year.
I'm just saying, for the record,
Yeah.
that I would have, the town would have participated. had we been asked. So that's it. It's not here nor there, but you represent the chamber. So. All right. Next is the marketing committee. Trustee Bruce.
The marketing committee meeting is tomorrow morning. The MAC committee has not met, and the dirt report is attached to your documents, the scoop of dirt.
Okay.
Good you got back online.
Yeah, I was having a technical difficulty. I'm sorry.
I hope you said yes to
Oh, and by the way, Lex here.
everything. Right on.
I thought I heard her say
Yeah.
that.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Bruce? Hearing none. Next item is the High Alpine Region team. Trustee Woods.
Well, I think they're kind of defunct. Because they never got any grant money for all their proposed projects.
Can I remove it from future agendas?
But I haven't heard a thing.
Well, maybe,
Maybe I just remove it until you hear something?
Yeah. Let us know when you hear back from them.
I will.
I guess. Something like that.
Okay, next is Region 10. Things are still flowing along nicely. The county at their meeting, I was contacted by Sandy a while back and I've agreed to stay on as the citizen at large on the Region 10 board and serving on the revolving loan fund committee. And I was able to, thank you to Commissioner Borchers, fired me a text that we're having coffee, conversation and coffee in Region 10 had come up. And I thought it was a good get together. And Arlene was there, and then Commissioner Levine and Commissioner Borchers were there. And we just had some discussion about the town and business and that kind of thing. And I told them that I constantly am a cheerleader for them, spreading the word about loans. And there's money available there for entrepreneurs that want to expand their business or do anything like that. And they do have, and their new head of the loan committee came up, and so did the girl named Sarah that works in Gunnison. And so if somebody was interested in getting a loan or some business help, you don't have to go all the way to Montrose. You can go down and see Sarah in Gunnison.
Oh,
And I have her contact information if anybody would like that. And that's all I have on Region 10. Any questions? No. Okay, Planning and Zoning Commission, did we hear anything, Lex?
No, they didn't meet.
Okay. Town Manager.
Yeah, you have my report. The biggest thing was the mill levy certification. I didn't get the final certification of values. They had mailed it on November 21st, but we never received it in the mail. So I'd reached out after our meeting because I was just like, that's weird. We should have got that. And yeah, they mailed it, but we didn't get it somehow. And so they emailed it to me. So the valuation was a little bit off. It was, instead of it being $20,120,430, it's $20,113,630. And then on the mill levy certification form, you have to round to the nearest 3 decimals, which that's the only place I've found that it says that. And so we ended up having to go, when I certified the mill levy with the county, which is what ultimately gets reported to the state and what gets applied to our taxes. We had to round it to 3.285, and the valuation was the current latest one, which was $20,120,430. Or I guess $20,113,630. So there's a little bit of difference there. Since we had to round to 3.285, it's going to actually generate $66,073 instead of the $66,081 cap, because if you rounded it up another decimal, it was collecting too much. So anyways, I just wanted to bring that to your attention that happened. The state approved our budget and resolutions. Apparently they don't have a problem with it. And ultimately it's a certification of the mill levy with the county that gets applied to everyone. tonight, please leave your iPads with me so that I can get those updated and back to you guys. I think they all need a little bit of love, a lot, and an update. For the 2026 election, which we're going to be calling tonight, for those that are going to be running, the first day to circulate nomination petitions will be January 6th, and the last day will be January 26th. We'll have those available at the office at the beginning of the year.
There's nothing specific about January.
So a couple other things that I didn't put in there. I did talk to Judge McDonald to talk about his contract. His contract actually renews in the middle of August, because I guess that's when we hired him. So, but he was open to negotiating how much he's getting paid and how that all works come August when his contract term is up.
You want me to work them over?
And then the last thing, for like the ADU stuff that I'm talking about for the housing, there's a grant round in February, and it may be the only round they have next year. So I've applied, which you may get an email in your town email. I just applied to be able to access the portal to look with the land use and housing implementation portal, Madola. And their strategy, one of the 9 strategies we have had to adopt in order to qualify for that money to be able to apply for it. So we'll probably be speaking extensively about ADUs in January and figuring out one of those strategies we can adopt to be able to go after that grant funding in February, late February.
And that was the email I received clarifying an email address.
Yeah, but possibly, yes. I don't know when it sent you, but I just official. I put your. That's all I have. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody, and Happy New Year. Diane, do you have your hand up?
Diane?
Yes, are we going to advertise for the election?
Yeah, we will. After you call the election tonight, we will be putting something on Facebook. Then we can publish the resolution in the newspaper. I imagine the newspaper is going to do something about it already.
I don't know.
Yes, please.
And then also it dawned on me I need to do the HPC on Facebook as well. Yes, we'll be putting out notice in multiple ways and forms.
Okay, and then also the rest of us have to like reach out to people as well.
And you can absolutely. That's your prerogative.
I think so.
Yeah. Anyways.
We all need to.
Yes, yes.
But that's all I have. I apologize for the ordinance earlier, not reviewing that and having it as an action item. I was just trying to wrap things up for the end of the year and get it off my list. I apologize.
Yeah, well, I agree that there's a long way to go on that.
Yeah.
And we will work on it. Okay, any questions?
Nope.
Oh, one thing, you know that link you sent me about the, from DOLA?
Uh-huh.
I couldn't open that. I
Okay.
couldn't get the info out of that.
No. All right. Well, I'll try to resend it or you can come by and I'll open it and show you. It's about the bill levy and the cap and how they calculated it.
I'll check later, but that question about the email address, I think I only came to my tablet, and if I'm leaving that with you, I won't be able to respond, so.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to call to confirm it with you. I'm not sure.
No, they asked me to respond as to which email address I use, and I use them both.
Okay. Well, I can take a look at it before.
Okay, when we're done.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, any other questions for Lex? Next item, town engineer report. I see Joanne is up there.
Yep.
How are you?
It's this time. Everybody went home except the electricians. We sent comments and a notice of award on the generator package back to Cummins late last week. And we haven't heard back from them on the generator award. The blowers are still on track to be in Pennsylvania on Friday. and maybe in Lake City a couple of weeks later. And we have not heard anything from Ridgeway Valley in a couple of weeks. But like I said, their electrician has been on site intermittently. And today the town crew worked on fixing the weir in the outlet box that's been problematic. And we'll know in the morning if it worked.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add some of that. So when we bypassed the pond and it was going straight to the effluent or to the weir or whatever, or the fluid shed or container, whatever it's called.
Contact chamber.
Yes, thank you, contact chamber. It filled it full of sludge. And so we've been having issues with doing our VOD or our E. coli test, something like that. And so we had it pumped because it was full of it and it was messing up our tests. So we needed to pump it today. Also to bring ourselves into compliance and have a test we could pass. So we got it pumped today, which was about $3,000, but there was still more. So we're going to be spending another $1,500 tomorrow on that. And we did a temporary fix to the weir box to help control the full flow. But I just wanted to mention that, something we did. Yeah.
We do what we do to stay in compliance.
Yeah.
So that's going out to the Winnery Ranch?
No, that was just what the turd herder took from us to go dump somewhere. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that name.
Yeah. So I just want to let y'all know. I mean, that's something we kind of had to pull the trigger on because our second test came back bad, unmeasurable. Yeah. So, yeah. It's okay.
And it's right into the room.
We're working on it. It's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right.
Okay. All right. Joanne, we appreciate all your work. Did you have anything else for us?
No, just happy holidays and happy new year.
All right. Well, thanks for your patience and for being here tonight, and happy holidays to you as well.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, you too.
Hope Santa's good to you. Okay, next is the legal update. Dan, do you have anything for us?
Thanks, Mayor. It sounds, well, I've worked on Lex's contract. We worked on that IGA, and it sounds like we have a lot of work to do on that ordinance, but we'll get there. So happy to answer any questions you might have.
Anybody?
No, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, guys. You too.
All right, thank you, Dan. Mayor trustee reports. Any trustees have anything they'd like to share or report? No?
No?
Trustee Woods?
Well, I had something, but I can't remember it now.
I had some.
Trustee Lindsay?
Nope.
No?
I guess see you guys next year.
You guys are awfully quiet. Well, I do have one little thing.
I guess it was about that mill levy thing.
So it's pretty easy to understand. He'll explain.
I just had one thing I wanted to clear the air on something at our last meeting on December 3rd. We were talking about the population dwindling, and I apparently stated that there's only 54 kids in the school. I meant to say 64. I don't know. Since I've lost my tooth, sometimes I didn't speak correctly. But either way, I take ownership of that, and I contacted Rebecca at the school, and I Googled it and found out that there are currently 75 kids at the school, and I don't like that information, and so I apologize for that, and I visited the paper, and they're gonna put a little retraction in there to correct it, the number, so, my bad.
So it's climbing.
So
It is.
that we had that information that was on that sheriff's
I corrected it.
negotiating.
And that's, yeah,
That
that
was a new one, and it's all
Yeah,
been corrected.
so I had a good talk with the county clerk and straighten it out.
Yeah, and it was, the correct information was in what I provided today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And I appreciate that. We want to have good information to work with.
And admit when we're wrong.
Yep. Okay, that's all I have. Correspondence received.
None.
to the agenda?
No.
No.
Please, no.
Okay. Then we'll move on to our action items. First one, discussion of possible action to approve resolution 2025-18, affordable housing fast track policy.
I so move.
Ooh, so moved. Henry has a motion.
I think Lindsay.
Lindsay has the motion.
I second.
Uh,
Any discussion?
No.
Roll call vote, please.
Bruce,
Yes.
Lingo,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Winery,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes. Next item, discussion of possible action to approve resolution 2025-19, calling a regular municipal election by mail ballot on April 7th, 2026.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Woods, second.
Okay, we went over this. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Bruce,
Yes.
Lingo,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Winery,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes. Discussion of possible action to approve ordinance 2025-05, vacating the alley on lots 1 through 11 and 22 through 32, block 21.
So moved.
Second.
So
Discussion.
I really wanted to see something attached to this that has dedicated easement along the river.
That'll be a separate,
I'll make sure of it being separate.
it's a separate thing that wouldn't have anything to do with the vacating of the alley.
Yeah, that's behind the other buildings. That's a big building.
It sounds to me like you've been promised, Henry, that will be part of it. And there'll be further discussion.
I had also been promised that that will be part of it. I just want to point out that I would normally never support vacating any of our property ever because people in the past have done that to the town's detriment. But in this case, I wholeheartedly support it.
And
That was my election
we're
speech. Did it sound
we're
good?
vacating it to our,
For ourselves.
yeah, we're vacating it for the benefit of Lakes.
Yes,
Okay,
From ourselves to ourselves.
yes.
right, any other discussion? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Yeah. It's already been motioned and
Oh, we
seconded.
did.
Yeah.
Roll call vote, please, I'm sorry.
That's why we were having a
Bruce,
discussion.
It's late.
Yes.
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Winery,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
and Robert.
Yes. We have removed item 4. Next, discussion of possible action to approve 2025 audit engagement with Green and Associates.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Before I forget, there was a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Bruce,
Yes.
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Winery,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Robert.
Yes. And our final item is discussion and possible action to approve the 2026 town manager employment agreement with Alexander Mulhall.
So you all have a copy of the red line version, which I mailed to you, Diane, emailed to you, rather. And I don't know if Dan wants to do this part.
Yeah, I did speak with Dan as the board had instructed for Dan and I to negotiate on this. We had our talk and Dan handled the negotiation and made a couple minor changes. I don't think any of them affect majorly, but Dan, take it away.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, these are really no surprises. They're directly what we talked about. There was an increase in the rent, which you'll see in section 11C, up to 1,000 a month for the house. I've removed a provision in 3B that only applied to the first 3 months of Lex's employment, and so it's just confusing. Other than that, the only thing that changed were dates in his overall compensation. I did get a comment about section 4D as in David, which just simply says the employer agrees to increase the compensation each year by at least the average across the board increase granted to other employees of the employer. It's up to you guys if you want to keep that or remove that. The concern is if Lex gives out everyone 100% raises, then he's essentially he's giving himself 100% raise. I think that we have protections against that are built into maximums, but I'm not sure that this provision is super important either way.
So there's whatever the cost of living adjustment is usually tied to inflation.
Yeah.
Doesn't, usually more than 3%. The performance raises are a max of 5%, and it's an average of all those. And so it's nothing that could get out of hand. We could do, this has been in my contract for 3 years. And what we can do if there is concern is that I can say, hey, here's this pool of money that is available. This is what I'm looking at giving everyone. Have y'all agree upon that and have input on that. And then, and that way you're going to hedge your bets and I can't give everybody $100,000 a year. And I also need more,
Yeah, no, I appreciate the explanation and,
Are you good with this?
I'm good with I'm exactly good with how it's written. Yes. He did miss section 3F, or what is it?
well, wait,
4D.
before we move on, Dan was just talking about section 4. And that employer agreed thing used to be D. And somehow it got put under E and there's a blank D there. So
Okay.
if we're going to keep that in there, then correct me, but that statement would go back to D.
Yeah, let me make sure that on the clean version, when it takes all the edits out, I can look to see if, no, it's just says D on the clean one.
Yeah, and I apologize. I've had a nightmare with my track changes today, and Lex probably wants to throw a chair at me, but yeah, we can for sure format that correctly. Sorry about that.
It did get formatted on the clean version, Dan. It was just the weird editing stuff on it.
Well, and as you're working with our tablets, when I would open that, it would show a red line version. And I ended up having to email it to myself and then make a PDF for the red line to show up.
Okay.
Which was, anyways, and I just want to make, the only other one was in, section A, remove the line that referred to an exhibit A, and exhibit A, as was explained to me, does not exist.
Yeah.
So there's no point in that line.
All right.
That being said, do any trustees have any questions about? Lindsay?
I have no concerns about the contract itself, and I am very grateful for all the work that Lex has done and how far he has brought himself to be the leader that he is. I have received some questions about transparency, about not in general, in specific, like how much is Lex going to make? And I haven't answered those because I don't really know what the town's policy is. In the past, I know that I have had to talk about when I was an employee with, had to talk about my salary and compensation.
It's public information, isn't it, Jody?
And all it is a core.
Okay, well,
Yeah, it is subject to Cora, and however you want to handle it it's not private information.
Yeah,
No.
Everybody's salary is available.
Well, I assume that is so, but I like to run things by, make sure I'm doing things right. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I'll
Trustee
do
Lindsay.
that.
I'm sorry, Dan.
Oh, I said thank you for confirming. I appreciate that. It's easier to get ahead of things than clean messes up. So I appreciate that.
Lots of mess.
Trustee Woods, any questions or comments?
As long as Lex is happy, I'm happy.
Trustee Woods.
I want to keep him around.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the town manager employment agreement with, we're on this in 2026. Sorry, chopped it up.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Trustee Kendall did get an opportunity. Do you have anything to say?
No, I seconded it, but I think she beat me.
Oh,
She's louder.
She's louder.
Yeah, your mic's working perfectly, Diane.
Yeah. Not a problem.
Okay, that being said, the only discussion is, I would like to second what trustee Lindsay said. I think we're very blessed to have Lex. I personally know how hard he works and has come so very far from being an assistant in the Park and Rec program. And I think it's awesome that he has worked his way through each of the positions, which allows him to be a better leader because he knows all of his other jobs. And we are blessed to have a good town manager. So thank you, Lex. We appreciate you. And that being said, we have a motion in a second, so roll call.
Bruce.
Yes.
No. Yes. Lindsay. Wintery.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes. With nothing else before the board.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh my goodness. Bye.
Take care. Okay, meeting adjourned. No seconds.
I second it.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Landon's always